Hi, thanks for tuning into my video. This is just an update on my hair growth progress. And also a while ago I had a request to make a video summarizing all the steps that I took when I first started growing my hair long. And I hope you've all been doing well. I know there's been a lot going on in our country and in the world, so I hope you are taking care of yourself and taking care of each other. This isn't a current events channel, so I won't go into all that stuff, but it seems kind of shallow to be making a hair care video with everything else that goes on, but at the same time I think it helps to have some distractions and other things to focus on, so then we can go out and face the world and try to make it a better place. So in that spirit, I hope you enjoy this video and find something helpful too. Firstly, I want to mention that with growing long hair, having healthy hair, a good diet is important, and that might look different for each person because we have varying health needs, but I found that a variety of foods in their natural, as close to natural state as possible, is the most beneficial. And I do seek out organic foods, and I'm a vegetarian, but that's just what works for me. It's certainly not for everyone, but again, just a general variety of whole foods and finding what works for you. And secondly, I found that minimal haircuts and trims made a big difference on hair length, because before I used to follow that advice that you're supposed to get your hair trimmed every 6 weeks and it'll grow faster, but I would lose so much length from that frequent of haircuts. And then in 2020, during the pandemic of course, I started cutting my hair at home, and I'll include a video in the description of the video that I made showing how I cut my hair at home. It's really simple and easy. That's only if you want to just keep your hair all one length. So I just cut my hair twice a year now and take off the absolute minimal length, and that's made a big difference because then I'm not losing length from frequent haircuts. And the next tip is oiling and protecting the ends. That made a big difference on my hair length and hair health, and it helps the ends not look so scraggly. When I first started oiling my hair a few years ago, I would oil the scalp and the overall hair length, but then as I progressed on the natural hair care journey and started making my own hair wash, it was just too oily having oil on my scalp and throughout the hair, because the hair wash I make is so gentle, so I didn't need all that extra oil throughout my hair. It just made it more difficult to wash. And so now I just oil like the lower third portion of my hair, and I do that every single day. And then also protecting the ends, so I do a little wrap and then put a scrunchie around the ends. I'll show a little clip of that. Any oil can work. It depends on your hair type, what oil might work best for you. There's so many different kinds. Over the years, I think I've tried most, if not all of them, and they've all been good. There hasn't been one that I didn't like, except castor oil. It was just too heavy for my hair. I'll list in the description my favorite brands and some of the favorite ones that I've tried, in case that's helpful just for a point of departure. And also, like I mentioned, I started making my own homemade hair wash. Switching away from mainstream shampoos and conditioners, as a lot of those tend to strip the hair. Also, as a plus, then it's less plastic, because now I don't have any plastic shampoo bottles or conditioner bottles. And also finding a wash schedule that works for you is important. For some people, they may need to wash their hair, most every day, or twice a week, 3 times a week, once a week. I think it's really important to not be afraid to wash your hair, because I know a lot of the hair care advice is, the goal seems to be to not wash your hair, and that'll help it grow longer. But you can wash your hair and still grow your hair long, and it's just finding a gentle shampoo or hair wash that works. Just wash your hair when you need to. You don't have to be afraid of washing your hair. Just find something that is gentle and that works for you. And I use a conditioner bar that's made by a small business, so I'll link that in the description. I've been using that for, probably about a year now. And I tried some homemade conditioner ideas, and that worked for early on when my hair wasn't as long, but then when it got to waist length, hip length, I needed something more. And so I found this conditioner bar, and also I got a tip from one of my viewers about glycerin, and so I used that with the conditioner bar. I'll show a clip of how I use that. And the next tip is finding hair tools, brushes or combs that work for your hair. And again, we have different hair types, so what works good for me might not work good for you. I'm currently using just wide tooth wooden hair combs, and I did try the boar bristle brushes and over the years all kinds of brushes and combs, but for now just wide tooth wooden combs. That's working good for me. The boar bristle, I know those are usually highly recommended, and they work great for some people, and that's wonderful. But for me, I didn't end up liking them after a while because they're so hard to keep clean. So that's what works for me. But again, usually it's going to require some trial and error for each person to find what works for you, your hair type. But I hope that these tips are helpful. And these are the combs that I've been using. This one is a sandalwood comb that I featured in all my other videos. It's green sandalwood. It smells really good, and this is from the same brand. This was supposed to be black sandalwood, but it doesn't smell at all like sandalwood, and it has some sort of glossy finish over it, so I don't know if it's really sandalwood or not, but I do like it a lot. You can see it's rounded, whereas this one's flat. So I like both of these, but this one doesn't smell like sandalwood and this one does. So I like the sandalwood smell of this one. And then this is a bamboo comb that I got to try, and I like it fine, but I had to sand it and oil it because it had little wood spurs all through here. So I had to sand those and then oil it, but it works good for combing. And so, but these two are my favorite, and I'll include the link in the description for each one in case you want to check them out. This one was from Etsy, and these two I got off Amazon. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention was that this fall was the first time that I didn't have a lot of hair loss, because usually in the fall I end up having quite a bit of hair shed, and this year was the first year that I didn't, so I took that as a good sign that I must be on the right track. One thing I've noticed is how the hair is different in different weather, different times of the month and so forth. So like today it's kind of flat, plus how I had it styled, but it just feels flat today. Where usually it's pretty textured and more more bounces back into waves and curls.